of Miss Holloway from Grant High School in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. So many of you have called me about Northeast High School defeating John Marshall. And at this very moment, I would like to congratulate Northeast High School for defeating that great team, the Bears from John Marshall High School. And I want to tell you, Northeast people, why you did it. When I looked at that schedule and found out that we were playing you on Friday the 13th, I knew something was going wrong. Now, those of you from John Marshall, you know that we do not play anyone on Friday the 13th. That was our bad luck night. And to the students at Northeast High School, I would like to apologize to you. I was wrong. You beat us. But remember, you beat us on Friday the 13th. And if you notice, there was a big thunderstorm that came before the game. All of that indicated that something unusual was going to happen. The heavens opened up and poured down rain by the buckets because they knew something was going to happen that was impossible, and that was for Northeast to beat John Marshall. Well, Northeast High School, I know you're out there, and congratulations. I beg your pardon. Now, what else can I do? When I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. I was wrong, ladies and gentlemen, about Northeast High School. And I know those Vikings are really, those Vikings beat us. That's all I can say. And Vikings, you beat us on Friday the 13th. But we will see you next year. And we plan next year to tear you up. The National Domestic Violence Awareness Week has been slated for October the 6th and 12th. It would deal with public affairs talk shows to run in conjunction with this Awareness Week. This is a project of the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence that is based in Washington, D.C. The theme of this year's program is Formerly Battered Women Helping Other Women. The YWCA Crisis Intervention Center encourages such a series and feels that victims' success stories would prove an uplift angle to the burning bed and other domestic violence stories. And many of you out in radio land, many of you men whip your wives, and that's a disgrace. Someone told me that I would not call the list of wife whippers, but I will. Now, wives, those of you that are getting your whippings, if you will mail me a letter here at KAEC and tell me that your husband whipped you, I will be happy to make an announcement to that effect on this radio show. I will head it. Blank, an outstanding worker from Tinkerfield, whipped his wife. If you don't believe it, let me get that information. Today is a very important day, and I certainly have some very important guests here. Last week, we told you that Jesse Jackson was coming to town. We told you that this would be an opportunity of a lifetime where you will have the opportunity to sit down with one of the world's great leaders. And I want you to listen to his voice. I want you to listen to Jesse Jackson. Listen.
Put America back to work. When I was a child growing up in Greenville, South Carolina, Reverend Sample used to preach every so often a sermon relating to Jesus, and he said, if I be lifted up, I'll draw all men unto me. I didn't quite understand what he meant as a child growing up, but I understand a little better now. If you raise up truth, it's magnetic. It has a way of drawing people. With all this confusion and this conviction that bright lights and parties and big fun, we must raise up the simple proposition. If we lift up a program to feed the hungry, they'll come running. If we lift up a program to study war no more, our youth will come running. If we lift up a program work as an alternative to welfare and despair, they will come working. If we cut that military budget without cutting our defense and use that money to rebuild bridges and put steel workers back to work and use that money and provide jobs for our cities and use that money to build schools and pay teachers and educate our children and build hospitals and train doctors and train nurses, the whole nation will come running to us. As I lead you now, and we vote in this convention and get ready to go back across this nation in a couple of days, in this campaign, I tried to be faithful to my promise. I lived in El Barrios, ghettos, Indian reservations, and housing projects. I had a message for our youth. I challenged them to put hope in their brains and not dope in their veins. I told them that like Jesus, I too was born in the slum, but just because you're born in the slum does not mean the slum is born in you, and you can rise above it if your mind is made up. I told them in every slum there are two sides. When I see a broken window, that's the slummy side. Train some youth to become a glazer, that's the sunny side. When I see a missing brick, that's the slummy side. Let that child in the union and become a brick mason and build, that's the sunny side. When I see a missing door, that's the slummy side. Train some youth to become a carpenter, that's the sunny side. When I see the vulgar words and hieroglyphics of destitution on the walls, that's the slummy side. Train some youth to become a painter and artist, that's the sunny side. We leave this place looking for the sunny side because there's a brighter side somewhere. I'm more convinced than ever that we can win. We'll fought up the rough side of the mountain. We can win. I just want young America to do me one favor. Just one favor. Exercise the right to dream. You must face reality, that which is, but then dream of the reality that ought to be, that must be. Live beyond the pain of reality with the dream of a bright tomorrow. Use hope and imagination as weapons of survival and progress. Use love to motivate you and obligate you to serve the human family. Young America, dream. Choose the human race over the nuclear race. Bury the weapons and don't burn the people. Dream. Dream of a new value system. Teachers who teach for life and not just for a living. Teach because they can't help it. Dream of lawyers, more concerned about justice than a judgeship. Dream of doctors, more concerned about public health than personal wealth. Dream of preachers and priests who will prophesy and not just profiteer, preach and dream. Our time has come. Our time has come. Suffering breeds character. Character breeds faith. In the end, faith will not disappoint. Our time has come. Our faith, hopes, and dreams will prevail. Our time has come. Weeping has endured for a night, but now joy cometh in the morning. Our time has come. No grave can hold our body down. Our time has come. No lie can live forever. Our time has come. We must leave racial battleground and come to economic common ground and moral higher ground. America, our time has come. We've come from disgrace to amazing grace. Our time has come. Give me your tithe, give me your poor, your humble masses who yearn to breathe free, and come November, there will be a change because our time has come. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Jesse Jackson. For the first time in the history of this state, Jesse Jackson will come to Oklahoma City. He will be in Oklahoma City on Monday, September 23rd, in the grand ballroom of the Skirvin Hotel. He will speak in Oklahoma City at 7 o'clock p.m. The meal, the speech, $25 per person. I have invited Attorney Alexander back because of your response last week. Attorney, I want to thank you on behalf of those in Oklahoma that have longed for a day when they could see Jesse Jackson, when they could hear his prophetic words, when they could see him. That day is coming, and I'm so excited about it.
Thank you, Mrs. Luper. We need to have a full house to benefit from the inspirational message that Reverend Jackson delivers.
We have to have a full house.
Particularly our young people.
If that house is not filled, it will be a reflection on Oklahoma City. I've just received a call from Mr. David Threet of the Omega Psi fraternity. That fraternity will reserve 50 seats, and incidentally, that Jesse Jackson is a member of that fraternity, and they tell me those fraternity men are going to walk in there and they have a full seat. But let me tell you what they did. They are sending 10 other young people, paying $25 a ticket in order that they can see Jesse Jackson. And I would like to thank the Omega Psi Phi fraternity. And at this time, I wonder if there are any other fraternities in town. Are there any Alphas in town? Are there any Kappas? Where are the Phi Beta Sigma men? Where are the Phi Beta Sigmas, the Alphas, and the Kappas? I hope I will be able to interview one today. Incidentally, what fraternity do you belong to, Attorney Alexander? Yes, Attorney.
Well, I'm a member of Phi Beta Kappa, but that's not a social fraternity.
Oh, Phi Beta Kappa is all right. I wonder how many...
Well, let me say this, though.
Okay,
all
say
the
it.
Phi Beta Kappas out there, you send in your donations, or you sponsor children, or you be present yourselves. And if there are other fraternities out there, and there are, it's time for you to stand tall and not let the Omegas, the Qs, stand alone in this venture.
Well, the Qs are standing tall. The Qs are looking good. And today, I would like to challenge the other fraternities. I want to hear from those fine alpha men. They tell me that's the oldest fraternity, and I know if the Qs that came later can send 10, there's no telling what the alphas will do. I'm expecting one of the big alphas here today. But you alphas out there in Radio Land, call me here, KAEZ, and tell me what you are doing. This is really going to be a hot show. Yes.
Let me say this. I heard when I was in college that the alphas were the intellectuals. If that's the case, then show your intelligence and your support by calling in now.
I don't know where you heard that. I heard that the Phi Beta Sigmas were the intellectuals, the Kappas were the intellectuals. In fact, they're all intellectuals.
I believe I heard it from an alpha.
Oh, yes, I'm sure you did. Well, let me say something. My talk is cheap, but if they are so intelligent, let's see if they have intelligence enough to appreciate a man that has done the impossible. When everybody else said it could not be done, including the President of the United States, who said it without saying anything. Jesse Jackson went into Iran and brought prisoners home. He went into Cuba. He was standing on that balcony on April the 4th, 1968, when Martin Luther King was assassinated. Before then, he had followed Dr. King all over this country. Now, if the Alphas and the Kappas and the Sigmas, the Zetas, the AKAs, the Deltas, and other sororities and fraternities will not turn out for a man like that, I don't know. If Jesus would come to town and the tickets were being sold for $10 a piece, somebody would make an excuse. But I thank God that today we have Shriners, we have Masonic groups, and we have others that are going to come through like champions. And I am really excited about it.
Don't forget the Federated Women's Clubs.
Oh, okay, the Federated Women's Club. I would like to hear from this group. All you have to do is call us here at KAEZ, and we want to know what your organization is going to do. You told me that there were churches that were sending delegates, right? I mean, delegates are people to represent them at the dinner. Is that right?
Very true indeed.
What churches? Okay.
Avery Chapel, St. John's,
Avery Chapel,
Shiloh.
Okay, how many are Avery sending?
I don't have the numbers.
Okay, we don't have the numbers. Okay, let's see how many churches are sending, because certainly churches are leaders. They are religious leaders. But I want to say happy birthday to Enterprise Square with its businesses. Do you realize that the McLaughlins have been in business for 15 years? For 15 years. And what I want you to do is to join me in congratulating A.E. McLaughlin and family. Save money and gasoline and time at Enterprise Square Place. Let's celebrate the 15th birthday of Enterprise Square Place. Oh, what a deal. You'll be glad you did. 4901 North Martin Luther King Avenue is a place. It's called Enterprise Square Place. It's first class, and you know you love first class stuff. And you are safe at last, and I mean safe. You are safe at Enterprise Square Place, 4901 North Martin Luther King Drive Place. One stop does it all. Listen what you can do. You can buy your automobile tag, your truck tag, any kind of tag you can buy. You can also pay those utility bills. And ladies and gentlemen, at Enterprise Square Place, they have a first-class, bona fide United States Post Office, and you can even rent a box. You say you need to get your clothes clean? Don't worry. Take your clothes to Sherry's Cleaners. Take them in the morning and pick them up in the evening. Oh, you need a laundromat? Don't worry. You can go to Sherry's Laundromat and take care of business. And I'm talking about clean business. And some of you have some dry cleaning that you don't particularly need to press. And if you want to press it, they got a pressers there in the laundromat. Now, this is a 15th anniversary, and I want you to go by A.E. McLaughlin's place. Congratulate him. Here's a young man from Okmulgee, Oklahoma, who has brought his skills and his ability with his lovely wife, Dorothy, his beautiful daughter, Sherry, and they have put it together. Let's give credit where credit is due. Let's celebrate. Take your clothes to Sherry's Cleaners this week and tell them you heard it on the Clara Luper Show. Whoever would have thought that a little country boy from Oakmug, Oklahoma could put it together? The calls are coming in. People are calling Clara Luper because you know that I know that you are able to do anything and do it well. Oh, I see. People can, those of you that like to make reservations, the attorney has an announcement for you.
All right, my secretary is at the office now, and if you like, you can call her immediately at 239-6781. That's 239-6781. Call right now to purchase tickets or to make reservations for tables. I should tell you, even as I speak, that the room is fast filling, and people who reserve tables are going to be sitting up front. Of course, Reverend Jackson's voice will fill the entire room, but you also want to be close enough to see his teeth when he's speaking to you, to look into his eyes and feel the vibrations of his voice.
Certainly, you want to do that. That's why A.E. McLaughlin and his family are celebrating their 15th anniversary, and they will be at the affair. No doubt about it. And I want you to go to Enterprise Square Place. The address again is 4901 North Martin Luther King Jr. Place here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Dr. A.L. Dow, your optometrist. I heard the most heartwarming story that I've ever heard about Dr. Dow. One time a lady had a problem with her eye. Dr. Dow went into Dr. Dow's office, and Dr. Dow immediately called in an ophthalmologist, and at that time they put her in the hospital, and today that lady can see. Dr. Dow, you are the greatest. Those of you that are having eye trouble, remember you only have two eyes, and you got to take care of them. The telephone number is 235-0536. A big thank you, and Dr. A.L. Dow says congratulations, Mr. Alexander, for bringing Jesse Jackson to Oklahoma City, and Dr. Dow will be represented there. Congratulations from the House of Bingo, George Singer, the man that always support everything. If the people that George Singer had helped would come and play bingo with him, it's unbelievable what could be done. That's why I'm inviting you now to go to the House of Bingo and play bingo, located at 3613 North Everett Street. Stop talking about how much you love George Singer, but show that love by you bingo players by going in there playing bingo. Don't take all of the money out from the east side of Oklahoma City. And George Singer congratulates and hope. And George Singer say that everybody will be out to see Jesse Jackson. Yes, the M&W Welding Company is located at 2601 Northeast 23rd Street here in Oklahoma City. If you need some burglar bars, be sure and call 424-1482 here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. There are so many good things to say until I can't see why some people spend all their time talking about bad things. Let's talk about some of the good things that are happening, and let's get back here to the line. And I want to hear from these sororities. I want to hear from these sororities and fraternities. You mean to tell me the Qs are taking the leadership here in Oklahoma City? And I do have people been calling me. Kermit James says that he has to see Jesse Jackson. I have people from all over that's coming in. You have people that's coming in from all over. Yes.
Ms. Luper, may I also say that those of you who are waiting until the last minute, you're going to find yourselves having to be content reading about it in the newspaper and seeing him on TV. We're going to have to cut off ticket sales by Thursday of this week. The room is fast filling, and we must make final arrangements with the hotel for the number of dinners to be served. So purchase your tickets early.
Alexander, I don't agree with you that they will have to see him. But what they will have to do is to live with their conscience. Because here's an opportunity to see a man. And people are always raising up talking about, oh, black people aren't doing anything. And I want to know, what will they tell their grandchildren in years to come when they read in the history books about Jesse Jackson coming to Oklahoma City and they couldn't come? What will you tell them?
You're very right, Mrs. Luper. This is an opportunity for Oklahoma City and black Oklahoma City to be placed on the map. And we can't afford to let this opportunity slip from our grasp. We must turn out in numbers. We have to come, as my daddy would say, two on a mule to be there.
One thing about it, my white folks in Oklahoma City, your white folks, and some of you got some white folks friends. Now, white folks in Oklahoma City should show Jesse Jackson what Oklahoma City is all about. I call upon this white community, a community that could become the greatest out, to come on and let's get some tickets. I want some of you white folks to call me out there. Some of my best friends are white. I'm telling you, all three of them. And I want you to be sure and call. How about the white community? Is the white community responding?
They're responding, but there can be a greater response still.
Okay, I've just received a word here that the governor of Oklahoma will be supplying a bulletproof limousine. Thanks once again to the Qs, those members of Omega Psi Phi Psi fraternity, the Qs. Yes.
Let me thank Brother Glenn Brooks for making those arrangements, and also Irma Winters in the governor's office. We appreciate it very much, and thank you for your support.
Irma Winters is a Zeta, so the Zetas are coming on, and I would like to hear from the Zetas and others today. Certainly, Chancellor's Sheridina's Daycare Center, located at 1643 Northeast 50th Street, would like to say welcome to Jesse Jackson. And if I know Mrs. Gloria Matthews, she will have representatives there like you have never seen before. Chancellor's Sheridina's Daycare Center is also located at 2611 Northeastern here in Oklahoma City. I want the telephone to start ringing out here at KAEZ because I want to know if you are with me. Now, you are either with me or you aren't. If you're with me, you're going down to see Jesse Jackson. Now, I would like to say something to the parents here. I've seen parents go downtown and buy $50 tennises for their children. I have seen them buy Calvin Klein and any kind of name to make them look good. But today I'm appealing to your parents out there to spend $25 for your children's minds. And I get mad with educated parents, those parents that can read CAT cat and not teaching their children how to spell. I'm mad at parents who live in a state where they know who the governor is and don't teach their children. And certainly it makes me sick to think parents in this town having problems with their kids for lack of motivation. Kids that are making B's and should be making A's. I say to you, motivate your children by sending them to see Jesse Jackson. If they got in jail, you would arrange to get them out. I'm very serious about it. Let's talk about this big school contest. I understand that the winner has been selected. Is that right?
Very true, Miss Luper.
I also understand that name of the school cannot be revealed, and explain to the audience why.
Well, because of security reasons, we cannot announce in advance the locations where Reverend Jackson will appear. But there has been a tremendous outpouring of enthusiasm from the schools, and one school stood taller than the rest, and that is the school where Reverend Jackson will speak.
That reminds me of when I drove down to Florida. I'd always wanted to go down to the Atlantic coast. They tell me when you get there, the trees will lean toward the ocean. And I noticed something about those trees. Some of them were so much taller than others. And I really love that expression. I think the contest was fair. Let's go over how you decided as a leader of this movement what school that Jesse Jackson would go to.
Well, it was quite simple. The school that sold the most tickets won the right for Reverend Jackson to appear and address the student body. That's the way it was done.
And it was done correctly.
Yeah.
Okay, then I would like to congratulate the school. We cannot tell the name of that school, and once again, for what reason?
For security reasons.
But I tell you what, I bet in years to come, those children will be talking about that experience that they have of Jesse Jackson coming to their school.
Well, it's well known that Reverend Jackson can stand the hair on the back of your neck through his oratory, his brilliant oratory, even if you're viewing him on TV or in Radio Land listening to his brilliant speeches we did moments ago. And certainly it'll be even more so if you have the opportunity to see him in person. We urge all of you to do so.
Well, we would like to go down some of the schools that have called us, and these are schools, Shawnee, El Reno, Norman High School, all of the high schools here in Oklahoma City, The schools in Edmond would like to see him, but certainly it has been done. That contest is over. It will not be announced publicly for security reasons, but I know that will be a great day in the lives of these young people. Now, those of you who don't know whether your school has been accepted, you go on and do what you have to do. And a lot of you kids chew enough gum to buy a $25 ticket. Mrs. Hunter, you have a report for us?
Yes, Mrs. Luper. I do have a report for you. We are buying tickets to go to see Jesse Jackson, and we are taking some of our NAACP youth members there also to see Jesse Jackson. But I know you are all in smiles because the program today, the young lady from John Marshall was just smiling because she too had purchased a ticket to go to hear Jesse Jackson.
We have some young ladies, too, from Douglas High School, from Grant, from Southeast, and others that have purchased tickets. Incidentally, those of you out in Radio Land, we want you to call us now. Call us at KAEZ, and we want to know what you are going to do. You are a member of an organization. You are president of an organization. What are you going to do? Mrs. Hunter, do you feel that any fraternity out there can stand with the Qs?
Well, I was just wondering that. I heard you say that they are going to send 10 youth. Mrs. Luper, I'm just so happy that they are interested in young people and letting them come out to see as well as meet Jesse Jackson. Yes, I had a member in my church, and she said, you know, I saw him when we were at home, which was down in Mississippi someplace. She said, but I want my daughter to see him, and she's going to send her daughter because she wants her daughter to see him. And she was really concerned about the tables and the seating. So she said, are you sure it would be space for my daughter? I said, well, sure, you send her on. If she have to find a place at the table with me, she will not be sitting alone. And I said, it's going to be so many young people there that she's just going to enjoy coming and sitting with her peer group.
Well, I heard somebody told me that I didn't want to go. I can't go because I've seen Jesse Jackson. I've seen Jesse Jackson practically every year, and I wouldn't miss him. And certainly, I'm going to make Shelley make a sacrifice this week because Shelley has to get up, and we've got to send Shelley. Alicia has already purchased her ticket, and Alicia is 7 years old. She has to go see Jesse Jackson.
Then, you know, if Alicia's going and Shelley's going, I'm going to have to buy a ticket for Nate because she...
And Dante certainly has to go. Those of you that your children just have to go, call us here at KAEZ. Don't let your children miss it. Once again, let's run down where the tickets are. Where are the tickets? That's what I need to know. Where can they get tickets besides calling me? I have a few tickets left, and all you have to do is call me here at KAEZ.
Tickets can be obtained at the Black Chronicle, the Urban League, United Discount Drugs, that's at the corner of 36th and Kelly, the Myriad Box Office, all Walmart stores. Those of you who are listening and are in your cars, of our sponsors out there, we're going to be sponsoring 2 cheerleaders from each Oklahoma City high school to serve as ushers at this event so that they can see the dynamic Reverend Jesse Jackson in person.
Oh, you haven't heard nothing yet. Just wait till my friends come. I have some rich friends in this town. Northeast 4th Street has a special message for you. Are you looking for specific furnishings to complement to that special room? Or perhaps you're looking for an unusual and unique accessory to enhance your decor. Then I want you to stop by M&J's Furniture located at 910 Northeast 4th Street. This is your neighborhood furniture store for the finest in-home furnishings and accessories at prices that you can afford. The store hours are Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and on Saturday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now, let me tell you a secret. When you go in to purchase, if you tell them that you heard it on the Clara Luper show, they will give you an additional 10% discount. I'll be back with Attorney Alexander in a minute, but there's something very special going in Oklahoma City that I want you to know about. I have with me a young man, and your name, sir?
Houston Jones.
Houston Jones, tell me what else is going on in Oklahoma City and when.
Okay, on September the 21st There will be a fashion show presented by CJ's Exclusive Fashions down at the Acacia Inn, 112 Martin Luther King Avenue.
Okay, when now?
The Acacia Inn, 112 Martin Luther
Okay,
King.
I say when.
Oh, September the 21st,
Okay, September the 21st, and that's at what time?
7 p.m.
At
until
7 p.m. where?
The Acacia Inn,
Where is that located?
112 Martin Luther King Avenue.
Okay, now tell me about who's sponsoring that, please.
All right. The fashion show is being presented by CJ's Exclusive Fashions.
I don't understand. What is CJ's Exclusive Fashions?
It's a newly formed business that my wife and I are starting. Okay, she is the fashion designer herself. Her name is Claudia Jones.
Claudia Jones is a fashion designer.
Yes.
Does she have any experience in fashion and merchandising?
Yes, ma'am. As a matter of fact, she has her master's degree in fashion designing and merchandising. She attended Central State University.
Oh, well, that's quite commendable. I would like to see some of her clothes, and they would be on exhibit where?
At the Acacia Inn.
At what time?
7 p.m. until.
7 p.m. until.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
so very kindly for being my very distinguished guest today. And speaking of guests, we are getting ready for Soul Bazaar 85. Soul 86. Soul Bazaar 86 will be May 2nd and 3rd. And at that time, I told you that we were giving away something different this year. But I wanted to talk about last year. And I have a very beautiful young lady in here with me. Will you tell us your name, please?
Janice Cobb.
Janice Cobb, did you attend the Soul Bazaar in 1985?
I sure did.
You also attended it in 1984, 1983.
Sure did.
You're one of the pioneers for the Soul Bazaar. Is that right?
That's right.
I would like for you to tell the radio audience what happened to you at Soul Bazaar 85.
Well, 85 was one of the most exciting years for me. I just went under the impression of seeing a good show, a good program, and watching fashion shows and watching the girls model and present their programs. And I just happened to fill out a...
You filled out a little what?
well, it was for...
you filled out a ticket. That's what you filled out.
I filled out a ticket and put it in a box. The next thing I know, I had won something.
What did you win in 1985 at Soul Bazaar 85?
I won a beautiful VCR.
A VCR?
Uh-huh.
That's what I need. I need a VCR. You won one at Soul Bazaar 85.
I sure did.
Okay, well, what has happened since you won the VCR? It was a real one, not a play one.
Oh, it's a real one, all right, from Sears.
Okay, how did you feel when you won the VCR?
I was so excited. I couldn't believe it. I kept asking Mrs. Luper, "Are you sure it's me?" And she said, "Yes, it's you." And I said, "Okay, well, when do I get it? Where do I get it?" You know, and I got it about 2 days afterwards. And since then, I don't need cable. I don't need anything but the VCR. Just go and get my movies and look at them.
Oh, that is really terrific. But this year we are not giving away a what now?
A VCR.
We are giving away a 17-pound ham
Oh,
and a
boy.
17-pound inside round of beef from Campbell's grocery store.
Well, give me my ticket now.
Oh, certainly. The tickets are now on sale for the 1986 Soul Bazaar, which will be May 2nd and 3rd. Announcements have also gone out for those of you that would like to exhibit at Soul Bazaar 86. You will have to do that early. If you notice one thing about it, we're going to make Soul Bazaar 86 the largest one in the history of the Soul Bazaar because of the fact that you have been with us for 16 years. Just remember, Soul Bazaar 86 will be our 17th year. And how many of those years, Janice, have you attended the Soul Bazaar?
I think at least 4. I know.
4 years. Well, thank you. Those of you out in Radio Land, take that date down, May 2nd. Now, remember, May 3rd is my birthday, and what you can do for me on my birthday, I want you to think about it, because I sure want you to do something for me on my birthday. But in the meantime, I would like to thank you, Janice, for participating. You're one of the most beautiful young ladies that I have ever known, and I'm so happy that you have found happiness with your V what?
VCR.
And you won it where?
Soul Bazaar.
Soul Bazaar. That was Soul Bazaar 85, and we are getting ready for Soul Bazaar 86. Thank you so much for being my guest today. Ladies and gentlemen, last night I had the opportunity to go to Ardmore to attend what they call the Red Something Classic. I'm the president of Langston University, will be here in a minute, and he will be telling you more about it. But I want to tell you about a busload of people that went to Ardmore last night. I really want to tell you about these people because they were some distinguished people. I don't know when I have laughed so much as I did on that bus ride. That was some bus ride. Letty Ruth Hunter and Irma Ellis put that bus ride together. And it reminded me of an executive bus that I rode in Chicago, Illinois. When you got on the bus, they had their little reservation tickets and they would check you off. Then you would have a special seat. My husband and I had seat number 26 and 27. On that bus, I saw Everett Bowser, Madge Brewer, John Daniels, Elnora Douglas, Dr. and Mrs. Ellis, Harold Foster, William Harwell, Worth, Mr. and Mrs. Hatley, Mr. and Mrs. Irie Hall, Mr. and Mrs. Ellis Hildred. I saw Mr. and Mrs. William Hunter, Raymond Johnson, Dorothy King. I saw the Honorable Leroy Kirk, Belvy Lewis. I saw Marva Moreland and Raymond Moore, Henry Morrison, Leon Rawls. I saw Gene Scans, Robert Smith, Esther Swain. I saw Mr. Thomas. I saw Jewel Warner, and I saw Mr. and Mrs. Wharton. Oh, yes, I saw. If I didn't call your name, it wasn't because I saw you. And then after we got on the bus and we started down south, the lovely Mrs. Hunter and Mrs. Ellis came out. Would you like to be served, please? Would you like to be served? I'm not going to tell you what they served us, but I can tell you what they didn't serve us. They didn't serve us any alcoholic beverage, but they did serve us. Then by the time they finished serving us a very distinguished drink, one of the most plentiful drinks in the whole world, then they came back with another sack, and on this sack they had some popcorn, and it was a different style popcorn. You had a choice. Those that wanted salty popcorn got it, and those that did not. I looked back and I saw the lovely Esther Swain all in her yellow tam and her yellow pantsuit, all smiling as she was served. Not only that, they had a movable waste basket where there was no trash on that bus. And then I looked up there, the bus driver was a man that owned the bus company, Mr. Perkins of the Perkins Bus Company here in Oklahoma City, a man who was promoted as the vice president of Trailways and then formed his own company and now own over 6 huge buses. Oh, last night was a night. And when we got to the game, I saw that president of Langston University. Boy, that president of Langston University had a cowboy hat on, looked just like the used to be Governor Kerr. And I say to the president, Mr. President, I want to see you at KAEZ Radio tomorrow. And here he is. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Holloway.
Clara, it's a pleasure to be here on this day. And of course, I just must say to that Oklahoma City alumni chapter, under the leadership of the dynamic Mrs. Hunter, we want to thank you for supporting the Mighty Lions.
Well, you should see your booster club now, Mr.
I'm fixing to add that to it.
Please.
You know, I don't miss a lick on all of those. Got to give them alumni first.
Okay.
And then the booster club, Dr. Hadley, and all of the boosters were all there in Ardmore last night, and we truly did appreciate it. It was a beautiful setting. And I know the young men and all of the students at Langston University, on behalf of all of us, we say thank you because the occasion, the Red River Classic was the name of the,
Oh,
it
I'm
was
so glad.
it was the second a classic. Last year, of course, it was a classic, the first, and we played Bishop. This year, we had to play the Savages. And of course, unfortunately,
Don't tell that, sir.
I won't even talk
No,
about
don't
that.
talk about
No.
that. Let's talk about the first half of the game.
That was the best time.
Yes, the best time was the first half. Let me salute those big Langston Lions: Leonardo Lee, Charles Lemons, Gerald Franklin, Jeff Williams, Mark Granger, Reggie Carter, Tony Hatley, and incidentally his dad was all smiles, Arnold Doss, Marvin Bridgewater, Raylan Haley, Alan Dotson, Greg Lawrence, Paul White. I would also like to salute Doug Maddox, Pete Jackson, Alton Scott, and our own from Fifth Street Baptist Church, James Giddens, Eric Richardson, Willie Sales, Mike Andrews, Kenneth Henderson, Jeff Cromarty, James Glass, Douglas Bruce, James Harden, and Gardner Pleasant. I've called them all.
Well, there's one more out in Guthrie Way. Mitchell Pierce.
Oh, Mitchell Pierce was kicking that ball.
No, Iffy. He's the one that is the running back, and I tell you, from Guthrie land, he's a local, and we are very proud of him as we are all of the other players.
Oh, I was proud of them until that last quarter.
If we could escape out, let's keep the conversation.
Okay,
we
then.
said we were going to talk about the things of the future.
Okay, well,
there's always another game.
But we better tell our radio audience. I better tell them. Well, I want to let you know that Langston won that game during the first half and lost it during the last half. Now, I have some words with that coaching staff out at Langston University that next time we can't take that. Now, you better get yourself together, because one thing about coaches, they are always on the merry-go-round. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Clara Luper radio show here in Oklahoma City. I'm talking to the president of Langston University. I need to know when is homecoming.
Homecoming, Clara, and this is good things we can talk about. It's October the 26th, and I have before us a whole series of activities beginning with October the 20th through the 26th. And of course, the first part of the week is going to start off with Color Day.
When is that? October the 20th?
October 21st. So that's the day when everything on the campus is decorated in orange and blue.
But Dr.
That's
Holloway,
kind of a spirit day.
But Dr. Holloway, I just want to talk about the date of the homecoming.
October the 26th. That is the day.
October the 26th.
Or Saturday.
What time will the homecoming game be played?
The game will be played at 3:30 p.m., but the activities will begin at 10 o'clock a.m. that morning.
Okay, now suppose in Oklahoma City, if I know Oklahoma City right, they really want to outshine Tulsa and everywhere else. And let me go back a minute. I would like to thank all of the kids from Dallas, Texas that came to that game last night. I saw Starks and Jones and on down the list. But let's talk about what we want for homecoming.
We want a packed house, and I know we're going to get it because people are already calling from all $5.
The tickets are just $5. Just $5 for homecoming. That's the cheapest place you can go.
That's right. And probably we should, we want...
okay, no, I'm not going to tell you how to run your business.
Well, $5. I'm proud to hear you say that $5 is cheap.
Tell me how to run mine. I do you just like Gory James did last Tuesday in City Council meeting. One of the white men that were there mentioned Senator Porter and Clara Luper. And Gory James told them that Clara Luper and Senator Porter don't run his business. Well, anyway, I'm not trying to run your business.
Well, I'm not going to comment on any of that. I want to say this, that October the 26th is homecoming. And, of course, October 26th homecoming. We do expect, and I want to highlight a few things that day, Clara, because part of it I think is significant. We try to do several things for homecoming. At 10 o'clock that morning, the ninth president of Langston University, Dr. G. Lamar Harrison, will be presenting to us for the G. Lamar Harrison Library all of his personal papers for our archives. Wonderful. There will be this presentation in the library at 10 o'clock a.m. And we certainly would want all of the alumni and all persons, Dr. Harrison, president of that great institution for 20 years, and we will be honored to have him make this presentation. And at 10:30 that same morning will be alumni reunion brunch. That's going to be around the poolside in the Gales Gymnasium. That's a new feature of homecoming this year, where at 10:30 till about 12 noon will be an alumni reunion brunch. And we want all of our alumni to be there for that occasion. Then at 12:30, the parade. Then after the parade, the pregame show, and then the game.
Okay, now, Doctor, I want to see these young people. I'm talking about over 60 years old that's in nursing homes, get ready to go to Langston University. So many times people get old and don't want to court, don't want to do anything but sit around and talk about how old they are. I want all of you that's in nursing homes, I want you senior citizens to get ready to go to Langston University. And I want you to start courting, too. We don't have enough senior citizens courting. I need to announce on this radio that some beautiful young lady that's 69 years old is getting ready to marry a young man, 75 years old. So start courting. And speaking of a nursing home where you'll be taken care of, remember the Watkins Stevens Skyview Convalescent Nursing Home? They have clean, modern home, and it's for the sick and the aged. 24 hours nursing service. Betty R. Lynch is the administrator. Mrs. Bug is the director of nursing. That's Stella. Phyllis Chambers is a secretary. I want you to remember the Watkins Stevens Skyview Convalescent Nursing Home. Clara Luper talking to Dr. Holloway of Langston University. Dr. How's the enrollment going at Langston now?
Very good. Our enrollment this year is 2,100, and of course that represents about a 5% increase over last year. And the greatest increase came among the freshman class. We have almost 200 new freshmen this year.
200 new freshmen.
And we are very proud of them because they are all quality students. And I want to say the theme for homecoming this year is believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
And I think that's the quality of what the alumni have always been, and we want to pass it on to this new generation of students.
I cannot close without talking about that Langston band. That band was looking good last night. One thing about Langston University, you learn how to take what you have and do something about it. And this is what you have done. Who's your band director?
Mr. Montgomery, Mr. McClyde.
Where's Montgomery from?
He's a native of Mississippi.
Oh.
He has really done outstanding, and I think we will all enjoy the band. And, of course, if there are those in the radio audience who want to continue to participate in the band, we even invite participants. We still have additional suits.
Yeah, okay, we have additional suits, and young people, I would urge you to look at Langston University, and when you look at it, you're going to see something. Because it was a Langston University graduate that wrote Behold the Walls, 346 exciting pages of history. And the day I went out to dinner and I saw black people, and many of them told me they didn't want to eat in white restaurants. You can't even get in there, Father. I want them to read Behold the Walls by Clara Luper so they will know exactly what happened and how it happened. Dr. Holloway, I'll always give you a minute to talk about Langston University. And you have a minute, sir.
Certainly, Clara. It's always a pleasure to say that Langston University is proud and pleased to have the representation and support of all of Oklahoma City. We want to remind all of our radio audience that we do have a program here in Oklahoma City down on 4th Street. We are providing educational opportunities, and we would want you to, we'd like to encourage you and invite you to go to the Jimmy Stewart Building, where we have a center located there, and talk to our director, Dr. Crooms, and plan to complete your college career and your college degree with Langston here in Oklahoma City. Clara, this is the beginning of a new year, and we are enjoying all of the excitement and all of the young people that we have. We have scholars, we have athletes, we have band students, we have all types of persons who are preparing for leadership roles in our future. I believe our future is going to be good, because I see in this class of young people at Langston University future leaders who are going to seek the presidency of the United States.
That part of the program was brought to you by Marilyn Hildreth of Allstate Insurance Company. Marilyn wants to look at your insurance policy. She wants to see if you're getting the most for your money. You may call Maryland 424-6863 here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Calvin Luper would also like for you to call 235-4875 for the Oklahoma City, for Studio 75. You know, I've been talking to Baptists, but I really want to talk to some of those African Methodists. I was in, that was Kansas City. I was in Kansas City when a new bishop was elected. His name was Bishop Brookins. And when he was elected, I was talking to a friend of mine from California. She said, I know he's going to make the Methodists work. Is it true, Mrs. Hunter, that you are having the Oklahoma City and Tulsa District Annual Conference here in Oklahoma City? Is it true that you are having that conference here in Oklahoma City?
Yes, it is true, Mrs. Luper. We're having it here in Oklahoma City, and it will be at Avery Chapel AMU Church.
Is it true? Is it true that on Tuesday night you are having a banquet at St. Luke's United Methodist Church?
Yes, Mrs. Luper. The lay people will be having the banquet on Tuesday night. We always open our conference with this particular banquet. The lay people will be sponsoring this banquet, and it will be at the St. Luke's Church.
Can the Baptists go to that?
Why, sure.
How much are the
I'd
tickets?
just be happy to take you.
How much are the tickets?
The tickets for the just $15.
Oh, just $15.
Right.
No problem.
So I'd
no
be
problem.
just happy to hear you.
My husband will send me. You don't have to pay my way. CP
But I
Wilson
just
be
wanted
happy
to take
send
a
me.
Baptist and let him see what the Methodist people are doing.
Okay. On Wednesday, is it true that your conference will be meeting starting at 10:30 a.m. at the Avery Chapel?
Yes, that is the opening session, Mrs. Luper, and it's quite an interesting service. We will begin at 10:30 in the morning with our regular opening services, and the bishop and all will be there for the morning services.
Is it true that on Thursday you will continue your meeting at Avery?
The meeting will be all day, and they will begin in the morning. Most of the meetings will begin at 10 o'clock. Some will start sooner than that, but they will be all day.
Is it true that on Friday, is that the day that the preachers get their assignments?
That's not the day that the ministers get their assignments on Friday, because usually we lean toward the ministers. They will be having some special meetings. The ministers will be having, but that day we think about the Women's Missionary Society on Friday, because yes.
Is it true that all of those African Methodist Episcopal women will be wearing white on Friday night?
We will be wearing white on Friday night.
When you say we, you're talking about all of the AMEs.
All of the AME members.
Including Ollie Wallace.
That's right, because that's our night in white.
Yes, a night in white. Do you believe all those AMEs are going to wear white?
Yes, indeed, they will be.
I don't believe that. I'll let you see that for myself.
You just come and see this night in white.
Okay, let's talk about Saturday. Let's talk about Saturday. What's going to happen Saturday morning?
Saturday morning, this meeting will start at 10 o'clock, and this is usually we have our ordination services in the morning, but for the Missionary Society, they will be having a special meeting, and we will be having a special breakfast for the delegation. That is for the missionary delegation.
Where will that be held?
That will be held at the First AME Church.
Is that the newest AME church in Oklahoma City?
That's my church at 33rd and Cali.
Okay. Now, will the bishop speak here in Oklahoma City?
Yes, the bishop will.
When will the
speaking.
bishop speak?
Now, usually he does open our services on Wednesday, and then again he will be conducting the services on Sunday, all day Sunday. So I know you want to be there on Sunday.
Well, let me tell you who's going to be speaking Thursday night. My pastor's going to be speaking Thursday night at that meeting. Fifth Street Choir is going to be singing, but my pastor's going to be speaking. A Baptist is going to be speaking to the Methodists. I wouldn't miss that for nothing.
Well, I'm going to be looking forward to you coming, and I'm inviting all of the radio audience to come out to any of the services that they so desire. The services will be going on all day, and the majority of them will be at Avery Chapel.
Excuse me, Mrs. Hunter. We spent enough time talking about the Methodists. Now, I would like to say that Mrs. Sapp is going to be honored on October the 4th. We'll be talking about that next week. But I want to tell the people out in Radio Land that Robert Adams, who's head of the athletic department at John Marshall High School, lost his mother Saturday morning. I don't know when the services will be, but it is a fact that Robert Adams' mother died on Saturday morning. Many of you that know Bob Adams, you know that his mother was an apple of his eye. He taught formerly at Dungy School and then went to John Marshall High School, and every weekend he was with his mother, and sometimes he would leave school in the evening and go and see about his mother.
Well,
now,
where did she live, Mrs. Luper?
she lived in Chickasha, Oklahoma. If anyone knows the time of that service, please call us here. In the meantime, here's Letty with the funeral and death announcement.
This afternoon, we only have one death announcement to bring to you, and this is coming from the Pollard's Funeral Home. Mr. Ramon Smart, he passed on Tuesday in Los Angeles, California. They're bringing his body here. His body will be here, and the services will be held on Tuesday at 11 a.m. And the services will be held at the Holy Temple Baptist Church here in Oklahoma City. Mr. Smart passed in Los Angeles, California. I would like to say to the families, and especially to Mr. Adams and to the Smart family, be not dismayed, whatever betide. God will take care of you. Anytime that you need help, you can always go to God in prayer. And back to Clara.
Sir Charles Taylor is located at 6225 Southeast 15th Street here in Oklahoma City. If you really want to be dressed and you deserve a tailor-made suit, call 733-7600 here in Oklahoma City. That's Sir Charles the Tailor, and you will see Sir Charles the Tailor at the Jesse Jackson's banquet. Now, I do have some tickets that I want to give away, and I'm very serious about that. I have somewhere out in radio land, there are some young people whose parents are ill. There's some young people out in radio land who would like to go and see Jesse Jackson and just don't have the money. The Clara Luper radio show at this time would like for 3 of you young people to call me. I've just received a call here from Mrs. Alberta Alma, who's secretary of the 6th District Democratic Party, who wants to give a ticket for Jesse Jackson to a needed youth. Call me immediately. And thank you, Mrs. Alberta Alma. You've been ill, and yet you care about somebody else. I want to call upon this community, black and white, Indian, Vietnamese that's come here and gotten rich. I want to call on all of you for help now. We've got to fill every seat, and we're going to do it. You can't go because you're too busy to go, and some of you go everywhere else you want to go and buy the best whiskey in town and tell me you can't buy a $25 ticket. Call me here, Clara Luper Show, KAEZ Radio, Oklahoma City. Call me here, and I mean call me. Well, if you go to jail, don't call me. Call Nash Mitchell's Bonding Company, Time Care and Help. Mr. Mitchell is located at 427-8199, and you can also call him at home at 427-2862. He's open 24 hours, 2319 North Lottie Street here in Oklahoma City. Nash Mitchell says he will see you at the Jesse Jackson dinner. In the meantime, I switch you back because we need, your meal is included. Some of you can eat. You can eat on your $25 and you can see Jesse Jackson. You are helping a worthy cause. It is true now that we have 1 minute left. Tell my people where they can get the tickets.
Tickets are available at the Black Chronicle. That's the Black Chronicle, the Urban League, United Discount Drugs at 36th and Kelly, the Myriad Box Office. Don't worry about parking. There's free parking right in the front. And any Walmart store. That's anywhere in Oklahoma City. Also, you can call me anytime at 239-6781 if you want to reserve tables. That's tables of 8 or more. Once again, that's the Black Chronicle, the Urban League, United Discount Drugs, Myriad Box Office, and all Walmart stores.
As I look at the clock on the wall, I know it's just about time for Clara Luper to say goodbye. I really hate to say goodbye to you because I love you so much, and we have been together so long. The reason that I have continued to work every Sunday is because I wanted to be with you. And I know you want to be with Jesse Jackson. I know you will be there in large numbers. And I'm appealing to you tonight. I want you to continue to call us here at KAEZ and let us know that you're going to support it. I started my story by saying I'd met the enemy. Yes, I have met the enemy of black people, and that enemy is us. We are the ones that do not carry our part of the responsibility. There aren't any white people walking over here and breaking into our homes, hitting our old folks on the head. We are the enemy. And we can correct it. We corrected the situation in the Spring Lake Park area. Now today I'm appealing to you to stay out of other people's hands. I want you to do what my grandmother taught us to do. She used to have us to raise our black hands and say, with these black hands, I will never take anything from anybody. I will never hurt anybody with these black hands. And you whites out there, say the same thing. We can do something about crime. Clara, Luper is saying, I know the school and I'm not going to tell you for security reasons. I am excited about Jesse Jackson coming to town, and I'm excited because I know you got $25. You got a job that you didn't pay the way to get. You are out there in the insurance business and others because somebody paved the way. Clara Luper saying, whatever you do, get up off of your behinds and get your ticket. Love you, darling. Bye-bye.
KAEZ, Oklahoma City.